Alison and Delia. Before we talk about what the well-dressed advisor will be wearing in 2026, tell me about how you started The Style That Binds Us. It's a fascinating company.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much for having us. So we are the mother-daughter duo behind The Style That Binds Us. I'm Delia. This is my mother, Alison. So for some background, I interned at Versace and I worked at Barney's New York on the buying team. And Mom has been a personal and executive stylist for over a decade. And so she works with her clients. She refines their professional image and strengthens their executive presence.
So what should wealth managers be wearing in 2026? Are suspenders coming back? Is it going to be bow ties? What's it going to be?
Well, it's so confusing with the introduction of business casual for everyone, right? But I like people to think more, instead of like specific pieces, think about who your audience is going to be and dress according to that. For example, if you have a client down in Miami versus a client, maybe a Brahmin in Boston, that's going to be a different look. Is it going to be quiet luxury? People like to feel comfortable with their wealth advisor, right? So if you come in logo heavy and that's something that's a little bit offensive to them, you might sabotage yourself by accident.
Can you talk a little bit more about what makes a client comfortable? You can even talk about some of the accessories. It might be a pen, it might be a tie clip. Dig a little bit deeper, if you will.
That's a good question. There are things called wealth signifiers, and that's basically, like you said, maybe it's a Mont Blanc pen, maybe it's a certain, for women, it might be a certain piece of jewelry. Also, watches are huge now for both women and men. Those are signifiers to someone immediately that, oh, she's of my world or he's of my world.
And what type of dress or accoutrement might scare a client away?
That would be if you're wearing something that does not resonate with them at all. So last week we were speaking on a panel at a wealth management company to their employees. And so a woman came up after, and she's a top advisor, and she said, so she was meeting with a potential client and she wanted to project wealth and success. And so she went maximalist and she wore logo heavy pieces. And unfortunately, this client was actually more minimalist and had a quiet luxury approach. And she even mentioned it to the advisor that it was a turnoff with all of those logos.
Can you talk about, if you're a young advisor, it's expensive if you want to really impress clients. So what can a young advisor do to make themselves look good without spending too much?
4 words: fit, fabric, core wardrobe, and accessories. Fit means getting your pieces tailored. It doesn't matter the quality of the piece. If it is tailored to fit you, it makes all the difference. And then fabric, the best fabric you can afford because it drapes better on the body, right? And then core wardrobe. If you don't have a lot of money, you want to look a certain way, condense your wardrobe, maybe a palette of like black, gray, and navy, or whatever 3 colors you want to choose. Stick with that so it can be mixed and matched. And then a couple of those statement, strategic accessories.
Okay, you're going into a first meeting with a client, and if you're a male, you're going to choose a tie.
Mm-hmm.
What color do you choose? And then I'm going to get to your thought.
Well, I'm all about knowing your colors. So anything that's on the top half of your body, the light bounces up from the piece of clothing onto your face. So it's either going to bring out the dark circles under your eyes, or it's going to give energy to your look. So depending on, a red one, depending on the right red, is a safe bet, a kind of a power look. But I think like the tie that you're wearing today is perfect with what you're wearing. Beautiful combination.
All right, she hedged a little bit. What color do you like? First meeting with a client.
First meeting with a client. So either wear something that you think will really resonate with them, or maybe something that will that you'll have in common. That's an immediate connector, or wear something that makes you feel super confident.
And then finally, how do you think the return to the office is going to impact what you do over at The Style That Binds Us?
Well, it's already impacted what we do tremendously. One is the new hires that are coming in. They don't really have a history there to know how to navigate that. And then the people that have been in the office for a while, switching to business casual is very complicated for them as well, because they're leaders and they still want to stand apart as leaders. So how to navigate that. So it's been across the board, I would say it's it's been a tremendous boost, really.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on and talking about it.
Sure.
Thank you for having us, Greg.